Mommy Budgets, coming back to you again with another video. As you can see, I am sitting in my cozy chair, so therefore it is time for some cozy chair conversation. I was trying to debate on what I wanted to talk about today. What I've been doing lately is kind of making a list of some topics that may either be bothering me, I guess you can say, or those that I may see as being beneficial or productive. So, more than likely, the topics that I bring to you here are going to be informative in a way where I am suggesting that you run really quick away from that situation because it's not beneficial, or here are some strategies and tactics that I have used before or that I have seen as proven strategies that you can use in your life. And I think the topic, there was a toss up between Section 8 rental properties and just home ownership versus renting. And I think I'm just going to dive into the home ownership versus renting because I think it's kind of been on my mind hot and heavy lately because I have been having repairs done to my property. I actually am buying my home, so I guess I will fall along the lines of home ownership, although I don't technically own the property as of yet because I have not paid off the mortgage. So I've been just sitting, and thinking throughout the last few days and weeks, as it relates to this house and whether, at this particular time in my life or at certain stages in a person's life, when is it best to rent or buy? And that can draw in a large number of factors because you have to weigh in the person themselves. What are they trying to do? Are they trying to stay at one location for 5 years or less? Are they trying to stay there 5 years or more? These different things are gonna determine whether it is beneficial for you to rent or to own. So I sat down and I started thinking back about when I was renting and the advantages and disadvantages of renting, as well as the do's and don'ts of renting. So I started making a list of those things. So I'm going to read some of them off and just kind of throw them in the category that I felt was the category that I needed to put each one of these instances in at that time. The first thing that crossed my mind was little or no yard work because, as you guys know, pretty much me and my son, we do the maintenance work on our yard. So I don't pay anybody to mow my lawn. I don't knock anybody who pays someone to mow their lawn, but I, for one, like to save the money because they can easily probably charge me $75 because I have a huge backyard. To do my yard, probably upwards of $100. It depends on if we allow a couple of rains to take place. But anyway, one, because as you guys know, I'm on a budget. I'm trying to get out of debt, so I mow my own yard. So that's one. And two, because I use it as a form of exercise. So like some days I don't get to the gym, then I can go out and mow the lawn. And I do not have a lawn mower. If you saw my backyard, you would probably say, "Oh yeah, you definitely need a lawn mower, a rider lawnmower." But I think I've showed my yard in a video or two in the backyard before when I was hanging out with the dogs. But anyway, I'm gonna see if I can go back and find that video. Okay, and try and link it up here in this video. So, little to no yard work. I'm going to put that in the category of advantages if you are looking to rent a place. 9 times out of 10, there's little to no maintenance in an apartment or a townhouse or, a place that you're renting, unless you are renting a home and um, you, as the renter, are the person that needs to mow the lawn or take care of the lawn services. So I see that as a plus if you're renting. Number two, smaller living area. Now that I see as a disadvantage. I love my space. I love my space that I have in this home. Now, I don't like my space to be cluttered. My rooms, pretty much every room in this house is a pretty nice size, and I don't like a lot of decorations or whatnots or different items sitting around. I don't care for that. Give me one or two pretty um, large pieces, and I am fine with that. So I see a small living area in an apartment as a disadvantage. The third thing that came to mind was less space to clean. I definitely see that as an advantage when you are renting. Um, Now, keep in mind, when I'm talking renting, I'm talking about renting apartments or townhouses, those smaller spaces. Because personally, if you're gonna rent a house, the majority of these houses, like for example, this house, I only pay like $900 or so in mortgage. If I was to rent this place out, I could easily get $1,500 out of it. So now that makes no sense to me, to rent a house instead of go on and get a mortgage, unless you have, other issues or whatever the case may be. So when I'm doing this comparison between a house and a rental property, I'm thinking apartment versus a home, single family home. Okay, so less space to clean is a plus in an apartment, because cleaning this house, I have really, let's see, one, two, three. I got 3 bedrooms upstairs and one, two, three, really 4 bedrooms downstairs, but I use one as my business space to do my t-shirts and all that kind of thing. So yeah, and I have 2 entertaining spaces or like family rooms. So I got one upstairs and I got one downstairs. So yeah, when you start talking about cleaning all that, then yes, I think that it is a benefit to live in an apartment so that you will have less space to clean. Number four, little to no cost for repairs. I see that as an advantage of living in an apartment or renting a space, because 9 times out of 10, your landlord or the owner of the apartments are going to be the ones that take care of the majority of the repairs. In this house, since I am the homeowner and I am buying the house, I have to pay for the repairs, and they can get costly after a while. Now, I mean, you have to kind of look at the whole picture. Let's just say I've been in this house for well over 10 years, and I haven't had like a whole lot of things to break where I have to come out of my pocket. So it hadn't been bad. The major things is I had just had a wall and a ceiling repair done. I had my AC compressor changed. I'm trying to think of the things where, they were close to like $1,000 or something like that. I want to say that's it. I mean, stove, refrigerator, haven't bought those in forever. Dishwasher still going strong. I got a reasonable washer and dryer after my washer went out the first time. So I think I'm pretty good with the repairs. But as it relates to buying versus renting, I think that it is a benefit or an advantage to rent a property. for repairs' sakes. Okay, next is less privacy, or pretty much, if you are in an apartment, you hear your neighbors. Especially if you're at the multi-level or multi-floor type settings, you may hear your neighbors. So I see that renting in that regard as a disadvantage, because this is a single family standalone home, and although you can hear people, like outside of your window or whatever the case may be, as it relates to hearing them having conversation in their home, I don't hear that. They would, have to be outside of their home for me to hear them, and I don't hear that often. So that is a benefit of owning a home. Okay, next I wrote down more restrictions and limitations when you're renting. And what I mean by that is I may decide that I want to come into my kitchen one day, and I'm looking around and I don't like the wall that's dividing my kitchen from my dining room, and I can just tear that wall down and put me an island there. I don't have to call anybody. I don't have to ask for permission. And actually, if you're renting a space, 9 times out of 10, you will not be able to do that. So that's what I mean by limitations. So I do see that as a disadvantage for those that are renting. Okay. And the very last one is decorate less, or you can't be as creative in your apartment, which falls in lines with what I just said about the restrictions. You may want to paint. I may come in here one day, just like my son. He decided he wanted his room fire engine red. In most apartments, you can't change the color of the wall to those type colors. So that is a freedom that you have when you are owning a home. So I do see that as a disadvantage when renting a property. So this video seems to be getting long here, so I am actually going to kind of stop right here at these 7. But out of the 7 items that I was able to gather, we have 1, 2, 3, 4. 4 out of the 7 are considered disadvantages. So with that being the case for me, at this particular time in my life, I feel that it is better for me to own. And one other reason why I feel it's better for me to own is because I'm at a stage of my life now where I'm ready to own things. I don't want to continue to just pay out money, pay out money, pay out money. And I know that there are some people out there that says, when you're renting, you're swapping a living space for money. I understand that you're paying for a living space. Yes, I get that. But I want to pay for a living space that I own. So right now, at this particular phase in my life, I feel that owning my property is the better way to go for me and my family. This is all Dr. Mummy Budgets has for now. Please leave me a comment below and let me know what your thoughts are as it relates to renting versus owning. Because I know you can get really creative with why you take the stance one way or the other, you know. But yeah, leave me a comment below, and I would also like it if you would share this video with others that may be interested in this content, and also subscribe to my channel. But until next time, this is Dr. Mummy Budgets, where we dream big but start small around here. Peace.